So today we are going to learn how to cut a mango. This is literally the hardest fruit in the world to cut, and I have butchered it many, many times, but I finally found the secret to cutting a mango perfectly. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you have a perfectly ripe mango. So when you go to the grocery store and you find your mango, push down on it a little bit. You'll see kind of like a little indentation that stays when you do that. If it's not perfectly ripe, don't worry about it. You can just keep it outside of your fridge for a couple days until you get that perfectly ripe, making that little indent there. So before I get started with cutting, one thing I always like to do, I don't like this thing, so I always take off this little tip. And then the other thing I like to do is I look at the shape of a mango. And the shape of the mango really helps make sure you're cutting it perfectly. So if you look at it like this, it looks like an egg. So there's this way, but I always do it vertically to look like an egg. And then when I'm gonna cut around the egg and get a perfectly portioned size, because there's this big seed in the middle that makes it impossible to cut. So you can't just cut traditionally like you would cut normal things. So we're gonna get started in cutting. So I put my knife not directly in the middle, to the right of the middle. And then what I do is I start going down, and I like to use a serrated, like a little serrated knife. So I start going down, and when you start to feel the pit, you wanna make sure you go to the outer side of that pit. So if I'm starting to feel the pit, I go to the outer edge. And that's 1/2. So I'm gonna leave that over there. Then I'm gonna flip it, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. And that's pretty much where you're gonna get the most of your fruit, is from those two outers. Now, sometimes I do like to try to see if I can salvage any fruit from the outside, so I'm gonna try that here. It's very difficult. So again, I feel for the pit. I'm gonna try it on this side here. I'm gonna feel from the pit. See, you can hear there's a lot of pit there. All right. So these are my mango pieces I'm working with here. So I'm gonna cut each of these sides in half. You can see that fruit. It's nice there. And you can't eat the peel. So I cut it like that. And then this is the funnest part. So you can cut it in strips. Now put the knife down, but don't cut through the peel itself. So you can see I cut through this side, but I did not cut through this side. So now I'm gonna take my knife and I'm gonna feel for where the skin is, and I'm just gonna cut the fruit out. I'm gonna put it in this bowl over here. It's extremely satisfying to cut this. And so you can tell I didn't cut the skin. So I'm gonna put this over here with the pit, and I'm gonna do the same thing with this. I'm gonna go a little faster. I'm gonna do the same thing with this half. Cut it down the middle. Cut some slices. Oop, I got a little green skin on this side. I'm gonna take that off. And then we're gonna do the same on this side. And then I still have these pieces over here. There's still some good fruit on this. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Do some scores. Pop those in there. And now, here's all my fresh fruit. Nice chunk sizes. And my kids will eat that in approximately 20 seconds. And that is how you cut a mango perfectly. And there's my kid's hand. Thanks for tuning in today to learn how to cut a mango. Maybe not perfectly, but a lot easier than
Definitely perfect.
dealing with that pit. Thanks for joining.